My name is Beverly and I'm George's wife, and I've come here to testify about the miracle of God that happened in August of 2013 when we were here at the 9 o'clock service. And during the worship, George started not to feel right, and he sat down, and I kept looking over at him, and I finally looked, and the whites of his eyes were showing, and he was completely motionless. And I called to two young men I saw across the aisle because I didn't want to disturb the service, and I kind of mouthed, "I need help," and they came running. And at the same time, the ushers that were already up front saw the commotion going on, and one of them that I knew, I said, "Get Michelle Smith," who's a respiratory therapist and Pastor David's wife, and she went to tell him to get her. And Pastor Jay was sitting right in front, so he came along as well, and he told Pastor Sean to pray, and the whole church started to pray. And he came up the aisle, and he knew George was gone. And after trying to get George's pulse in his neck, his chest, and in his wrist, and to no avail, they carried him off into Pastor Jay's office, where Michelle then decided to start CPR as Pastor Jay was calling George's spirit back into his body. And at that time, she did one hard movement on his chest, and George sat up and said, "Ouch, Michelle, did you hurt me?" And we all began to laugh. And George was back, and Pastor Jay said, "He's back." And we knew he was back, but I knew he was gone from the time I had looked over at him, just as well as Pastor Jay did. And that's my story. And I'm just testifying to the power of God that operated that day. I always felt it was for the church that that took place, so that the church could see the power of God and the healing and the way that we need to believe, so that we too can go out and lay our hands on people and see them healed and see them brought back to life.